I know you're a big Star Wars fan. What is something you've seen in past Star Wars films, shows, books, you name it, that you love and wanted to hold tight to an Acolyte? But then I also want to know something that you thought was missing from past Star Wars projects that became really important to infuse here for the first time.
That's really interesting. I mean, I think the biggest inspiration for me was Darth Treya in Knights of the Old Republic 2, a character that when I first encountered her playing the game, I was really blown away by her characterization as well as the journey that she took the protagonist through. It felt like a type of character that I'd be interested in building a narrative around. So that was kind of like what I sort of was bringing to it, in addition to my overall fandom. But that was the thing that I kind of picked up on when I was brainstorming about this. And then, I don't know, I mean, the world that George created it's a masterpiece. So it's hard to say that I wanted to bring something completely different. I guess I really like being able to utilize witches in my own way. Obviously, you know, we know from Clone Wars and Ahsoka, this is not a new concept for Star Wars, but I guess I was so interested in if I was going to tell the story of these two women, and if I were going to tell their origin story, it would be nice to do it later on in the series, and also a bit of a cliffhanger so that you had to keep watching to understand where they came from and who they are. So it's not that different. I think it's just a different spin on it.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take witchiness in any form, like anywhere in the world, and also Star Wars. Amandla, for you, just so you know, we're going to release this during the premiere, so people will know about both your characters. You're safe to talk about it. I will guard it with my life. I'm curious to see if your answers differ for this, but what would you say is the single most difficult quality of Osha to capture and bring to screen? And then what is the single most difficult quality of Mae to kind of wrap your head around and bring to life?
Oh my God, that's such a good question. Well, I guess like for both of them, it kind of has to do with their internal world. So like Osha is like a suppressor and compartmentalizer. Like she doesn't express her feelings very well, and that's kind of part of her core wound and why she sort of cannot figure out how to connect with herself deeply. That's her spiritual block, you know, and her path is how to unlock that spiritual block. And that's what is so fun about our show, is you kind of get to see that progression with her and hopefully continue, because I think there's still a lot of unblocking to do. But I think being able to translate, it's very difficult to translate. It's difficult to express someone not expressing something.
It's like one of the greatest acting challenges, giving a viewer access to a character's internal world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's for someone who is afraid to delve into their own feelings, let alone share them with other people. The process of shutting something down when it arises is a difficult thing to share. While at the same time I wanted her to be like lovable, and I wanted like people to be on the journey with her, you know? So that was challenging. And then with Mae, I really wanted Mae to be the opposite. I wanted Mae to be like driven by emotion, like almost to the point where it's a problem, which it is. Which is just a tiny bit of a problem. And that kind of like brash, intuitive demonstration of emotion is not necessarily the way that I am. I'm a bit more like Osha. So like...
I would agree with that.
Yeah. So thinking about like how that sort of intuitive emotion that just like is letting itself out all over the place, that was challenging for me.
Seems like one of the greatest acting challenges to play two characters like this, but also one of the most exciting things in the world. And
so much fun.
Oh, it's so clear you sink your teeth into it big time here. I love it.
Thanks.
Not sure how much you two spoke about this, but I'm always curious about character backstory. Did you ever discuss why Mae and Osha kind of diverged at a point, and one veered towards following her mother's lineage and the other did not?
I mean, the reason I'm laughing is because did you? Because you only wrote
like 60 pages
of backstory about how they did.
That's my favorite thing.
There's so much. She wrote so much backstory to the characters. Almost put more. I mean, you put so much thought into exactly what you just said.
And I wasn't planning on writing 60 pages, and then I was just like, but it's two people. This is the only way.
Yeah, it makes
that
sense.
I can get into it. No.
Can you share something from those 60 pages that we don't necessarily see or hear about in the show, but we can feel informing your performances?
You've seen 4 episodes?
4 episodes.
So there's a lot that you're going to learn when you finish the show, honestly. But I did think a lot about, it's kind of a continuation of what we were talking about earlier, is I thought a lot about the fundamental nature of these two girls and how that fundamental nature has shaped their life path. And with Osha, it's like she's never actually been able to find where she belongs quite yet, whereas Mae has from the jump. And there's a lot of questions, I think, about some people really identify from the communities that they were raised by. Some people always feel at odds with them, and that really shapes the way that they move through the world, you know.
I love that the show leans into that. Plus a million other things that I wish we had time to talk about. Leslye, a big question for you. So this is Acolyte Season 1. If you could snap your fingers and get the amount of seasons that you think would tell your complete story for these characters, how many seasons would you get?
At least 3. At least, yeah. I mean, I'd love to keep doing it forever, but I'm not sure.
I would be chill. This was like my only job for
That's how I feel too.
a long time.
That's how I feel too. This is my dream job. So it's like, if I'm saying 3 because I'm like hoping they'll allow me to do that. But if I could snap my fingers, it would just be, this is my job until I retire. I can't think of a higher creative or career peak than working on Star Wars. So I really am good. I don't really need to do anything else.
With it. I also just refer to it often on the assumption that we'll be able to continue for as long as we want to.
Yeah.
I just refer to it as Star Wars University to all of my friends and family. You know, like when I was making this choice, I was like, I think I'm going to go to Star Wars University. You know,
we speak things into existence at Collider. So
Yes.
I say with like authority, I look forward to seeing the rest of this season and everything to come.
Okay,
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.